Welcome back, everybody.
This is
Educational football.
This is a special edition episode. We have two of our hosts. I'm John, that's Richie.
And we're together, so I guess we just wanted to hop on a quick video and talk about current events in football. So yesterday, Champions League tie, Bayern, PSG.
PSG pulled through in the aggregate though, so they're going to be advancing to take on Arsenal in the finals of the Champions League. That game is going to be in about a week, 2 weeks from now, maybe a little longer. What did you think of the game?
We saw the game together here. It was obviously, I don't think anybody expected it to be like last week after how good that match was, but it was definitely still entertaining. I think my first impressions are that PSG are just an unbelievable team. It's starting to get to the point where we're like talking about this team as if it's one of those special teams that people remember throughout the years. Like, you know, those Barcelonas with Pep, like those Madrids with Benzema, Ronaldo, and Bale, all of that. It just seems like that. It seems like the way they play football is so special and exhilarating and just beautiful to watch, and it really, everybody wants to watch it. It's dynamic, it's fast, it's attacking based. Luis Enrique is definitely the greatest manager right now. I think certain people saying Arteta is the best manager, it's pretty harmful to say that. I mean, just I know PSG didn't have the best beginning and middle to the season, but you know, I saw an interview with Luis Enrique when they asked him, "How do you like? Why aren't you playing as good as you? We know you can, etc." A couple weeks ago, and he's like, "Do you understand how much football we're playing? Like from last season, going all the way to Champions League final, all these players playing in international stuff, and then next season, like you're bound to just not put in the best performances, especially in the French league where." You know, they'll. I think it might be even a little close right now, but overall, it's probably like given to them. Champions League. I mean, last year they didn't even qualify in the knockout stages immediately. They had to play the extra game, and they had to do it again this season. But they don't care. They'll only lock in when they need to. So it's pretty admirable their mentality going into it, and then like when they get to this stage, they just show everybody this special sport. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely agree. I think the better team won. Yeah, I mean, it was still a good game. Of course, it wasn't like last week. Last week's game, I think, was probably the best match I've seen all season. But you know, it was still an enjoyable game, and I think you really do have to credit PSG's strategy. They got in the goal pretty quickly in the first couple minutes, and they pretty obviously decided to fall back in a way and hold that goal, hold that position. They were in a comfortable two goal lead in the aggregate. But I think what I found very interesting about their strategy, they know that Bayern is an offensive team as well, and that they are a push forward kind of team. And they were clearly throwing everyone they could as far up as they could. They don't have that outstanding of a defense. And so although
Yes,
PSG, Bayern?
Bayern.
Yeah, Bayern.
Bayern, they're okay. They're pretty good.
Oh yeah, but not like if you watched yesterday's game, I don't think you'd say that the defense performed outstandingly. If it weren't for their goalie,
Neuer is unreal, but I think that's
through.
just like I think that's good defense, better offense. I mean, these are the best attackers in the world.
Well, let me finish my thing. Yeah, I mean these are phenomenal attackers. I think you saw a lot of talent. Dembele is great, Kvara is great, and I think what was interesting to me tactically is how they use the offense really to break up Bayern's momentum, because I think they knew that if they just fell back and held the line of the defense, that eventually Bayern was going to break through and get at least one goal in. And so by continuously countering pretty much as possible, they really they killed that momentum, and they made it harder for them to kind of push ahead every single time. And they weren't able to get a goal in until maybe the 87th minute. And it was a good goal from Kane, but obviously at the end of the day, in the aggregate, PSG pulled through. So I think I think the better team won.
Yeah, it's definitely something to speak about. That he went to the Allianz, Bayern Stadium, and that's a crazy stadium. Those are arguably the craziest fans in the world, and they didn't flatter to the scene. They actually ended up scoring immediately, which that's a blessing. That's the best start they could have dreamed of. But still, like that shows the mentality of these guys. I could see like a other team like really succumbing to the pressure of that situation and really feeling every fan jeering at them. So I think that's really like that speaks a lot to them. Not only are these the most skilled players in the world, but their mentality is also top. So that's what makes the best teams. You know, having that combination of mentality and skill and teamwork as they do. We see it's so fluid. So that's why we're looking at a generational team here. And it's exciting. I think Kvara, best left winger in the world. Dembele, maybe best player in the world skill wise. I mean, he's really emerged as a stature of the sport right now through these past 2 seasons. Then you just have talent everywhere. I mean, from the midfield to everywhere. I mean, we know PSG unbelievable all around. Their defense, Pacho, also like one of the best center backs in the world probably this season. So just they're really them. To think they almost got Cherky, you know. Cherky they have an offer for him, but he didn't go.
That would have made that team unbelievable.
I don't even know what would have happened. Like, does he even? I don't know. But regardless,
You don't even think he would.
I don't know. That's a hypothetical. He probably would eventually, but
Maybe
they
not
had
this
what they're
season.
doing is just working. So
It's clearly working. I do have to say, I couldn't envision watching like PSG play, and maybe this goes into the next point, but I could not envision an English team really standing up to them the way that even Bayern did. And Bayern still lost. They played all right yesterday, but I could not envision a United, even a City, definitely not an Arsenal, going up against them and putting up that same
well,
showing.
I think I don't know. I think Arsenal are the team to do it. I mean, City got battered by a Madrid team, so I don't know. That's just definitely PSG will beat any team, though probably Arsenal. It's a final. Things will get. Who
Things
knows
will-
what's going to
yeah.
happen?
Do you have anything to say on Arsenal and Atletico?
No, yes, but just really quickly, I just wanted to mention about Bayern. I think around like the second half started, they're down 2 goals on aggregate, and I think it got very desperate very quickly, which is something we see in a lot of these games that you lose. I think a hallmark of them is when you start getting desperate early on. And it just seemed like everything they were doing was launching the ball in and all these crosses without aim and trying to, try anything that worked, but they weren't doing anything really with purpose. So I think that's where they crumbled a little bit. Musiala, he didn't amaze me this series. I definitely want to see more from him. I know he's coming back from an injury. I don't even think he started the last. Maybe he did. I don't know. But the last tie. But he's definitely like, yeah, you want to see more from that special number 10. Kane, he doesn't get the goal. Pacho had him, but he gets the goal at the end. But ultimately, Pacho had him. Olise also kind of locked down. But yeah, I think that's where Bayern went wrong.
Hello. What's going on?
Hey, we have a special guest here, Dr. Callis,
Hello.
to give his thoughts on the game yesterday.
It was a surprise game for me. I thought Bayern Munich will do better and control the game, but it seems the midfield of Paris Saint-Germain took over the game. And I think also Luis Enrique plans how to do certain moves that change the whole game. Like if you noticed the goalkeeper of Paris Saint-Germain, every time he got the ball, he just sent it wide toward, help me, who's that French guy with the long hair? Yeah. Olise. So he sent it to Olise. So when he did this, he sent all Paris Saint-Germain players toward him and they controlled him. So usually he sent it to the other way, away from him. And he moves away from the ball in a smart way, and then the ball ends up with him and he goes danger on the PSG. They started with him and they took it from him. So he couldn't keep going and his contribution was way less the other way. Yeah. So definitely he did a couple of those smart move and he controlled the game and they couldn't even do like great chances. Then I think also the 50-50 calls by the ref went all in favor of PSG. So, and that all contributed. But that should not be the case for Munich. So they should have controlled it better.
Yeah, there were definitely some penalties that were questionable, I guess. But Bayern just seemed a little bit desperate, especially when the second half started. Like they just started crossing, trying to get anything they could, but it didn't really. Where there's no purpose behind it, as I was saying earlier. I mean, PSG are the best team in the world with the best manager in the world and the best players in the world. It's a recipe for success.
Yeah, but you know what? I think you have some really top teams, and it depends on that moment how they perform. So sometimes it goes the other way, and you need like couple of just small good plays or some luck. But it's Byron is not far. They're really amazing team, and they don't stop, and they keep attacking, they keep playing, and they do beautiful.
Yeah.
They played really very well in Paris. I thought that they overplayed. I thought they overplayed PSG in Paris. So those games are really very close. Could be going any way.
Yeah.
So we'll see what's going to happen in the final now
Yeah.
with Arsenal. And
Yeah.
don't rule Arsenal out
Yeah.
because they have a different style of play, and they're not just like attack. If they control the defense and the midfield, they might come up with surprise. But I would say 60% PSG will win it.
Yeah, something like that
Yeah.
sounds about right.
And thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, doctor.
Sure.
Now, just to finish, I guess we'll talk about. I think we could talk about Arsenal or that Premier League, but
I
we
think
should
you want to talk about something else.
Madrid.
You want to talk about Madrid. Give the folks a summary of what's been going on with Madrid
Okay,
to start.
so what's came out is that I guess just in like there's come out about a lot of different fights kind of that have emerged in the locker room, but you know that is typical, I guess, of every team. Some sort of heated moments. Madrid made some mistakes, and it kind of became bigger and blown out of proportion here. First of all, when you have a team, your locker room is a sacred environment, and there's like a leak. There's a leak in the Madrid locker room, and these things that should be private are becoming public. Me, as a fan, should not be knowing about private scuffles that are going on in the locker room. But it got a little out of hand. So apparently at practice yesterday, Tchouaméni fouled Valverde a little bit too hard. Tchouaméni didn't think it was that bad, and they kept playing, and Valverde was very upset. But by the way, Valverde is like a vice captain of the team. Guess it kind of blew out of proportion, and in the locker room it got heated afterwards, and the players had to break them apart. Then in training the next day,
which is today,
they were training again. And from the moment they started training, Valverde tackled Tchouaméni very badly. Like he got him off the ground apparently. And then Arbeloa, which as a manager, when you see this, it escalated from yesterday. Now it's even worse. It's kind of hitting a climax. What should you do? You should send them home.
You got to discipline them for that kind of behavior, no question.
But you know what he did?
What did he do?
He kept the training going, but he put them on the same team. They were playing on different teams, and he moved them on the same team. Nothing ended up getting resolved. They went to the locker room. I guess a actual real big fight occurred, and Valverde got his head split open, and he was hospitalized with
needs
brain
stitch,
injury.
and there's reports that he needs stitches as well. So
Well, if it's split open, of course you need
Yeah.
stitches. But he's gonna miss the game on Sunday, the El Clasico. And I was saying this earlier.
Well, first, there's also some additional contours to this. There's rumors of up to 6 players not even speaking to the manager right now. It sounds as if there is some kind of implication that Mbappe has been really checked out of the team. He was on vacation, and all of the other players were seemingly upset. There's a photo that somebody took today of him driving home from practice where they caught him laughing in his car.
Okay, well that could be anything. But
It could. I'm just laying out some other
Yeah.
things that are being discussed. It's worth contextualizing that
I think
that incident.
it's pretty I said this to you guys, but the way Madrid operates, the way the club operates, their whole motto about Galacticos, their whole motto about status and glory and all of this, I think it breeds behavior like this. It breeds this toxic, ego central, trying to be the best, not caring about unity, kind of brushing by this teamwork and sense of there's no really academy, there's no shot in coming from the down up. You just buy the greatest players, and they immediately, when they come, get whatever treatment they want. They become the hero of the club, the epicenter of the club, and everything gets based around these people who just come in, and it causes this ego issue and player power, and players don't even listen to the coach. So when I think of Madrid, I don't think of a team. I don't think of a unit. I think of just individual players that somehow are capable of individual brilliance. I mean, we look back to like Ronaldo, Benzema, Bale. They didn't like each other much. These guys did not like each other. Ronaldo wanted to score every single goal himself. He didn't care. That's the type of guy he is. Benzema wanted every chance he got. All of this. And now it's just kind of similar. You know, we're seeing it with Vinny, with Mbappe. There's some players who might like, you know, Valverde seems more of like a glue guy and like a team guy. But I mean, that's your vice captain getting in fights with other players right now. That's so unprofessional. And like, it seems like a culmination of all like the issues, everything about the club. That's really what's contributing to it's hitting a crazy point now. You know, this isn't the first time we've heard like like rats in the locker room leaking information, all of this fights, but it's like this is really a bad situation. And I mean, it's bound to happen when you have this type of way about your soccer club, this motto, the you know, the way it operates. And you have no leadership. Florentino Perez seems to be getting older. He seems to be checked out. He doesn't know what's going on. Your coaches are below. Who knows what's going on with the board? There's no leader. You had like before Zidane, you had Ancelotti. These guys are like well respected and they can maintain order. Now what do you have? Florentino Perez, who's checked out, who's about to get Mourinho back in place, and Arbeloa at the helm. So this was bound to happen.
Yeah, I definitely think you know, the issue isn't even like these initial like seeds that have been planted. You know, in an enterprise as big as a football team, especially one like Real Madrid, there's bound to be, you know, a rat in the locker room, somebody who is maybe disclosing information out of turn, talking out of school. But you'd expect for a professional club of its status that they would be able to handle that swiftly and professionally. They would have a more maybe discreet investigation process. This wouldn't have become something publicized. And yeah, I definitely think, you know, it's also just very immature for players to be getting in fights, like literal fights where they're splitting heads, like literally cracking skulls. These are, you know, the top of their profession, of their sport, and they're being reduced to like schoolyard like kids getting in fist fights. It's a little ridiculous. And I do think it definitely denotes a crisis of leadership, that there's no one to really rein it in or put a stop to it. It does make me seriously question why put these two on the same team after they've gotten like they've literally gotten in a physical altercation already. Clearly it escalated. I think there's a lot of questionable decisions that have been made, and it seems like no one really wants to go and take responsibility and be the adult in the room and kind of settle things. And I think that's very concerning.
There is absolutely no adult. I
Yeah.
mean, Mbappe is a senior lead. No, he's not. Sorry, but he's like, I guess, like the epicenter of the club. He's on vacation.
He's the face of it, but it's clear,
Vinny
from his
is-
behavior with going on vacation,
Vinny
that he's
is,
not
like,
as integrated
we've known
into
Vinny
the
to
club.
be immature in the past. He's not
Yeah.
a leader. Jude Bellingham, like, I don't know, he gets framed as this angel, but he's like, you know, he's not doing much. Valverde is fighting people. Your captain Danny Carvajal, the leader, the true and out, like, who's been there for so long. He's like claiming he has an injury because he refuses to play under Arbeloa.
He's refusing
He's
to
ref-
play.
he's claiming he has an injury. He doesn't have an injury. So it's all just that it's unbelievable.
There's clearly a lot more that we as the public are not getting. Like, if we as the public are getting this level of information and this drama, there must be so much more going on behind the scenes for weeks that we haven't been privy to. And I think this is really like the kind of rock bottom moment a little bit. I can't really envision what happens from here that makes it worse, but I also struggle to envision how they move on from this. I mean, the season's coming to a close, so maybe the World Cup and the time that the squad will take away from one another will be a good reset, and the board can take the summer
They need
to
new
square things
players.
away. Need new players, need maybe new staff, who knows. There's a lot of there's a lot of question marks, but yeah, the entire thing. I mean, it feels like YouTube drama.
And
I mean,
like-
we're literally discussing this like YouTube drama right now.
And the craziest part is nobody would care about any of this. No one would blink an eye if Madrid had won the Champions League or La Liga. nobody would care. Or maybe
Well, I
Champions
think if
League
they had
only.
won the Champions League or La Liga, they might not be in this bitter position. I feel like part of it
I'm
must stem
saying
from that as well.
like a lot of turmoil has existed and they still win the Champions League. But Madrid go trophyless for a second year in a row, and this is all like also occurring. And it's
Well, do you
because
think,
of
hypothetically, do you think if this had happened when, like let's say like 5 years ago, 7 years ago, 10 years ago, with the Madrid squad, then they go 2 years without a trophy, which is hard to imagine. But do you think that those players, do you think Ronaldo, do you think Bale would be reduced to this kind of behavior? I don't know. Like obviously, like Ronaldo is a big character. He has a big ego, but I struggle to see a guy like that getting into a physical fight.
He wouldn't.
Like sinking to that level.
certain players won't get into a physical fight. Like the physical fight thing is not really part of it. But they would crumble. They would crumble. Mbappe's crumbling. I think so. Ronaldo, if they went trophyless and he's not like
He'd start looking at other options, perhaps.
Yeah, it would be a whole mess. It's the fact that like Mbappe and Vinny aren't the same as Benzema and Ronaldo. So that's why, and they were able to win when those weren't. But I think that's all about Madrid. I mean,
anything on the Premier League front you want to discuss?
I don't think so. We could talk about that later after this weekend.
Yeah. We would just we could say Manu officially signed Kobe Manu for 5 more years. Very happy about that. A lot of discussion about Carrick being signed as manager. Richie, it feels questionable about that decision. I think we have a lot to prove next season, but I do think that he's earned, if nothing more than consideration of manager or of head coach. But
I think
I'm excited to see what comes next season for sure.
I don't think beating Liverpool is that like.
I do think we need
Even like Ahmad is like.
Ahmad has been disappointing. I can't lie. And I do think I agree. We need new players, 100%. We're not a full bench that can really compete at the Champions League level.
You need new good players to compete for a title race.
No,
next year you'll
100%.
be fine with this group. Maybe you could like make another Champions League charge or like try to top 4 charge again. If you could do that for a second year and like play good football with a good direction. But that's the thing. Like, I don't know. I don't really see much from Carrick tactically. Like I'm trying, like obviously he's doing good things, but we haven't seen like a real direction for like the exact style of football he wants to play. It seems a bit open, I guess. It's just like it's very average like setup, and like you just don't do what Amarim was doing, which was probably profiling the players and playing them in the worst positions possible. So there's a lot to be seen, a lot of uncertainty, but the future's definitely brighter than it was in the past couple of years.
I mean, like we've had this discussion before on the pod, but I do think, I mean, it's not as if Carrick has a defined personality in terms of style of play that he is directing. But I think that we've gotten some glimpses. It does feel very much the pass forward, play forward, push forward style. And I think, he's really making the most with what he has at the moment. I am hoping that we make some big signings this summer to fill some of the holes in our squad and, bring in some good talent that can kind of make us, if not a team that could get the trophy for the Champions League next year, at least make us, some kind of strong contender.
You say get the Champions League trophy?
Yeah. I'm saying that I don't think that's going to happen.
It's not.
I know. I just said it's not going to happen. But I think that, I'm excited to see how the summer goes and what we have to start out with in the fall. And I do feel optimistic about next season. And I'm still hoping that Bruno can take over the assist record from Thierry Henry as well.
Yeah.
And I think Henry even wants him to at this point a little bit.
Yeah. But I think that's it from us. Yeah.
That's all.
Thanks for joining, guys. We'll see you next. Hopefully after this weekend, we can make a video about Premier League.
Formal sit-down
Hopefully
video.
City gets another win and Arsenal loses or something like that. So, all right.
All right. Thank you very
everybody.
much. This has been
Educational
Football.